Hey everybody, it's me Jill and welcome to Jill Informed. I'm back. I'm so happy to be back and so happy to be feeling better. That flu is no joke and I didn't even have it as bad as some people. And I know some of you guys are also dealing with it yourself in your homes with your families. So I am wishing a speedy recovery to all of you. All right, last week I did watch everything as I was laying on the couch dying. And unfortunately, I do feel like I missed kind of a pivotal Vanderpump Rules. It was episode 14, Tom versus Tom, and Katie and Sandoval went after each other, and I liked it. I liked that Sandoval kind of went after Katie. As awkward as that was for his relationship with his new business partner, I think he finally just had enough of Katie acting like the queen bee all the time. And he made some good points, but in the end, he and Tom did make up. I don't know where Sandoval and Katie stand right now. Maybe they're okay, but more importantly, the Toms are okay with each other. So I'm sorry I missed that. At the very end of episode 14, the Toms made up with each other. It was the next day. They were in Tom Tom. Lisa was there, Ken was there, and they were just, I don't know, doing stuff to get ready for the opening, I suppose. And James walked in, and James needed to be told that he was uninvited to Mexico. He did not take that well. He was ranting and raving, yelling at them, and then he kind of left. That is where this episode is picking up. So this is the recap of Vanderpump Rules, Season 7, Episode 15, Trouble in La La Land. James has walked out in the back, and Lisa and Tom Sandoval have followed him. He's crying. He's not listening to anybody. He says he's being unfairly treated, and he's not totally wrong. Ken's now getting involved. Ken is reminding him that he is definitely playing a part in all this. He is not an innocent bystander. He understands that. But I think somehow in his mind, everybody screws up, but I'm the only one that gets punished for it. Oh, also, he asked about the opening of Tom Tom, the party that's going to be in a couple days. And Schwartz is like, yeah, dude, probably not the best idea for you to go to that either. James was really mad because he thought he was going to Mexico. He thought he was going to this party, and now he's being kind of cut out of everything. So he was not happy, and he was showing it. Now he just said to Lisa, listen, okay, fine. Can I still DJ at Billy's brunch thing? Because that was the first thing he had come in to ask Lisa. And she said, yes, you can still DJ the brunch. So he's like, all right, fine. So Sandoval gives him a hug, and he leaves. Next, we are at Stassi's apartment, and she's calling her editor for a 1-month extension on the book. I don't know if you remember, they said, okay, yeah, we'd like you to do it in 3 weeks. And she goes, okay, having never written a book before. So now she's kind of realizing that, yeah, I can't do this as fast as they want it. So she asked for a 1-month extension, and they gave it to her. So she's kind of happy about that. Meanwhile, she was having Beau bedazzle a bottle of tequila for a housewarming gift for Sheena, because they're going to Sheena's house, because Sheena's making enchiladas for her, Katie, and Kristen, and they're seeing her apartment for the first time. So at Sheena's apartment, Adam is there. It's a girls' night, but Adam is there as a bartender. Somebody should work out a safe word for Adam, or if the cameraman would zoom in and have him blink 3 times if he's being held against his will. I don't understand this relationship. Sheena thinks it's all great, and I'm getting a real kidnapping vibe. I hope it's not true, but I have never had a boyfriend in my life who acted as disinterested in me as Adam is acting towards Sheena. Something's going on there. Anyway, Katie and Stassi show up together, and Kristen comes a few minutes later, and she's got a big bag of stuff that belongs to Stassi. Oh, yeah, here's a bunch of your stuff I got from my apartment, so I'll just leave it by the door. You can take it home with you. Even Sheena, who is tone deaf to relationships, was like, oh, I think she's breaking up with you. Anyway, Katie tells Kristen that she wants to talk to her, and they go out on the balcony, and the conversation starts off with whose significant other is a bigger dickhole. Katie seems to think it's Carter. Kristen thinks that Schwartz has been a pretty big dick to her. So it's not starting off well. It does end up okay. Katie ends up saying, listen, I love you and I just want you to be happy, so that's all I really ever wanted. And she kind of apologized to Kristen, I think, kind of, sort of, and Kristen accepted it. Anyway, the conversation turns to how James has been uninvited to Mexico, which is a much safer topic due to their mutual hatred of James. That scene ends with Kristen saying that she's going to confront Lisa about going to the Tom Tom grand opening party. I guess she's afraid that Lisa will uninvite her or not let her come, and she's going to go there and confront her and tell her, listen, I'm going. I was invited by the Toms and I'm going. And if you look around, the other three girls are like, okay. Great idea, Kristen. Yeah. Next, we are at James and Raquel's apartment, and James is angrily unpacking for Mexico. And then Raquel comes in the room, and he's like, well, I guess I don't need this anymore. And he kind of throws his little suitcase. So James kind of tells Raquel the whole story, and, I got really mad, and I told Schwartzy to go f*** his wife. Side note, I'm not even sure there's anything wrong with that. You're telling a husband to have sex with his own wife. Is that supposed to be a bad thing? I just don't understand how that's such an insult, What's Schwartz supposed to say? How dare you tell me to F my own wife? So James is basically saying, I feel kind of bad for what I said at Tom Tom, even though I kind of meant what I said. His new thing is, I'm sticking up for myself. And Raquel's like, well, that's okay, but you can't be disrespectful. Because I just moved here recently, and I don't have many friends. And honestly, being excluded from the girls is hard on me too. Then we're at Sir as they're getting ready before the opening, and Lala is wiping off sticky menus, and Ariana is cleaning, and Lisa comes in and she's exhausted. And she needs candles from the other room or something. I don't know what's going on, but in any case, Katie goes to supervise Harry in getting the candles. And while Lisa is sitting down, Kristen walks in, and Kristen is walking in with a purpose. Okay, she is a little bit awkward. Like I said, she's coming in kind of, hi, Lisa. Kiss, kissing on both cheeks. And then she sits down, and Lisa's like, what are you doing here? And she said, I heard from the girls that you were here. And I just wanted to talk to you about something. First she says, congratulations on Tom Tom. And Lisa's like, well, it's not open yet, so congratulations is a bit premature. Then Kristen brings up how she didn't invite her to the Daily Mail party at Tom Tom. And Lisa said, I didn't invite anyone. So she said, well, I just want you to know that the Toms have invited me to the grand opening. And Lisa said, well, they have their own table and they can invite whomever they would like. And Kristen takes it to mean that, Lisa said yes to inviting her. And to the confession cam, Kristen's like, I think maybe Lisa likes me now. No, she doesn't, sweetie. I'm sure she would prefer if you weren't there. But anyway, Kristen, has nothing to, fight about. She got what she wanted, so she gets up and clumsily comes over to double kiss her again. And Lisa's like, ow, you're on my foot. Oh, God. I mean, to be fair, I don't even think she probably was on her foot. Yes, Kristen's a little clumsy, but Lisa enjoys making her feel like an oaf, you know? There's a throwaway scene with Jax and Brittany where they go to the doctor's office. She's going to see a gastroenterologist because, I don't know if you guys remember on the Solving trip, she was like throwing up all night that first night. And so she's having a lot of trouble with her stomach. So anyway, turns out the doctor thinks she probably has an ulcer and he's given her some pills to take, but also telling her no alcohol, no citruses, and no spicy foods. So have fun in Mexico. Poor Brittany's like, I was thinking I could just maybe have one margarita, but no, not even one. And he's like, no, because that could trigger a reaction. She's like, okay. And Jax is like, it's best to just be on the safe side. Yeah, okay, why? Because you'll be drinking for them both? I feel bad for her. Next, we are in the studio with Lala, and she is recording a song with Black Elvis. I guess he's the producer. And Ariana and Stassi come in to give support. And, she takes 5, and they're talking. And I don't know what's happening with Lala, but she kind of goes from 0 to 60 when she's talking about James. And it really kind of comes out of nowhere. I feel like, well, for sure Ariana, but I feel like even Stassi was kind of looking at her like, I'm sorry you feel this way. Are you okay? Kind of a thing. I think she's kind of blaming her father's recent passing for why her emotions are kind of all over the place. But it was really weird. She's happy he's not going to Mexico. And then she gets like, ugh. It's just taken everything in me not to put my paws on that clown. And of course, I love that phrase that she's going to put her paws on that clown. But she is sort of like she's shaking with anger. Now we're back at Sir, and they're setting up for Billy's brunch. Lala's working, Brittany's working, Billy, of course, and Sheena. Lisa comes in and sees Sheena, and Sheena is in this long white gown, and she's like, oh, look at you. And Sheena's like, well, she said bohemian chic, so I could wear this. Lisa goes, oh yes, it's lovely. Okay, side note, when Kristen came in to see Lisa, Lisa made a bunch of jokes to the confession cam about, maybe she just wants to keep me abreast of the situation. Because Kristen was wearing a very plunging top. All I can think to myself is it was no different or no more revealing than Sheena's dress. Yet Sheena looks lovely. I just thought it was interesting how the same cut of a top is lovely on somebody that you don't hate and slutty on somebody that you do. Anyway, Lisa talks to her about maybe having Adam work the tom-tom party, and Sheena said, I was going to bring Adam as my date. And she's like, what's going on with you two? And basically Sheena tells her, we're just best friends. We're not in a relationship. He doesn't want a relationship and she doesn't want a relationship, but that's okay. They're just sleeping together and they're keeping it casual. Lisa said you really shouldn't sleep with him because you're going to get hurt. And Sheena wants her to butt out of her relationship, which, really, as her boss, she shouldn't be weighing in on it anyway, but she's not wrong because Sheena is going to get hurt. You can't keep him captive forever. He is going to gnaw through the ropes one night and escape, and you're going to be all alone again and sad. All right, so the brunch is starting, and like I said, Lala's there, and she's got the J-Lo dress on, and she looks all pretty. James and Raquel show up because James is DJing. Sandoval and Ariana are coming just to have brunch, I guess. And just in case you're wondering if the DJing is any different during brunch than it is on a Tuesday night, no. It's the same, come on, let's turn it up, everybody. It's that same, like, driving house music during brunch. I mean, I guess I don't really know what I expected James to do. It's not like I thought he'd be playing classical music during brunch, but I don't know, maybe just something a little lighter while the sun is out. Okay, so Lala asks Billy if they can talk, because Lala would like to clear the air about a couple things. After her father died, Billy reached out to her and was very kind, and she thought they were in a good place, and she wants to know, like, what she did wrong at Sheena's housewarming party, because that's when they got in that big fight. And Billy goes, I was just questioning your character. Oh, is that all? And Lala goes, that's kind of a big thing. Like, I would rather you just said I was being a bitch that day and you were mad at me. That's something I can deal with, but you're questioning my character? That's big. Billy's like, I have a right to do that, Lala. And you calling people stupid, that's not cool. Okay, so now Lala's pissed. And she said, okay, you passed judgment on me, now I get to pass judgment on you. And I don't know what Billy said, but they pretty much get in a big, huge fight now. And as Lala storms off, she's like, you're a snake. Then we cut over to Scheana and Adam. Oh, God. He's like behind the bar, prepping the garnishes for drinks and probably carving help me into the side of a lime. And Scheana asks him to be her +1. And he's like, for what? And she goes, the Tom Tom opening. And he goes, and then she goes, and also I'm going to have to stay at your place that night. And he's like, Scheana. Okay, is Scheana dating him in her head? Is that what's happening here? Is it like all her imagination? I have yet to see a sign that Adam is a willing participant in this whole thing. I don't think he knows they're dating. Maybe that's what's happening. I'm going to keep my eye on him because I'm fearful for him. Okay, so back over to Lala. She now overhears Raquel talking to one of Lala's friends, Alexis. And Raquel is telling her, yeah, and she called me stupid. And she's using her dad. And so Lala is just like, something's happening inside of her. She is like turning into the Hulk. So she confronts Raquel and she's like, why are you calling me volatile? Gee, I don't know. And you screamed at Billy earlier and you are now acting insane? Just a guess? So Raquel, to her credit, is remaining calm. And she said, because you're not taking responsibility. Lala, for what? For the way you spoke to me. Lala's like, oh, okay, wait. Let me tell you something. Number 1, yes, I don't think you empower other women. And Raquel goes, oh, like you do? And she loses it on her. I'm speaking. And no, I don't empower you because I think you're pathetic. Okay, meanwhile, over at the DJ booth, Sandoval and Ariana are talking to James, and James puts Sandoval on the spot by asking him if he can come to the Tom Tom grand opening. Schwartz just said no when you were over at Tom Tom the day before. So you know the answer is no. For you to ask him again and put him in a bad position again, like, that was not cool of James. I just thought that was not cool. Sandoval, I don't know if it's because he was caught on the spot. I don't know if it's because he thinks I should be able to invite him if I want. And I don't know if it's because he's mad at Katie. I don't know. But he said, yeah, you can come. And James is like, and Raquel? Yeah, sure. Bring Raquel. The more the merrier. So he's thrilled. And I'm thinking, yeah, that's not gonna be good. Anyway, back to Lala, who is in the entrance of the restaurant just screaming obscenities right in Raquel's face. She's got 3-inch nails, and she's just poking that talent in her face constantly until Raquel said, okay, you are going to poke my eye out. Lala ends up going, I thought you were a dummy before my dad died, you bam bam bitch. I don't know what a bam bam bitch is, but I love it. You bam bam bitch. Oh. So anyway, Billy Lee finally comes up and she's like, get out of here. You just get out of here right now. So Brittany gets hold of Lala and she's like, why don't you come over here and sit down? And she gets her to calm down. I got to tell you something. Brittany was amazing. She knew what needed to be done. She knew how to calm Lala down just by letting her kind of blow off steam. And Brittany just sat there and listened without saying anything, even though Brittany wasn't on her side with everything she was saying, because Brittany even said in the confessional, I don't think anybody's better than anybody else, but I'm just going to let her say what she needs to say right now. I was super impressed with her. She could have been like Billy Lee and just another person screaming at Lala. She was diffusing it. Anyway, meanwhile, Sandoval and Ariana had gone back to their table to eat, and Sheena came over to them and said that, Brittany was their server, so Sheena was telling them that she's over trying to calm down Lala. And Sandoval said, standing there in the entrance of Sir, screaming obscenities like that in front of all these customers, you think Lala will get fired? No, but James would. He's probably right. But that also has to do with the fact that Lala doesn't normally act like this, and James does a bunch of stupid stuff all the time. So, I mean, you kind of have to take that into consideration, but I get what he means. Over by the DJ booth, Raquel is telling James, one time you told Katie she was fat and you lost your job, but this is 3 times now while Lala was at work that she attacked me, and I'm a patron. Okay. I mean, are you still called a patron if you don't actually spend any money there? Probably not. So now James goes to where Lala and Brittany are sitting. James seems to think that Lala has lost her goodness and kindness. And she sees that in Raquel because Raquel still has hers. And she wants to tear it down because that's what bullies do. Well, that's one theory. I really don't think that Lala sees her old self in Raquel, and that's what's triggering her. But I like that that's James's theory. I mean, listen, Lala is wrong here. She is working through some stuff. She's sorting through some feelings she's having, and she probably shouldn't be there because she's not handling it right. Whatever's hurting her inside, she's not dealing with it properly. And as much as I feel for her, I think she probably just shouldn't be there, or maybe she shouldn't have been filming. James said, and you don't want me in Mexico. And she said, I don't want you around me anywhere. And he said, okay, then don't do stuff like, the coffee shop where you act like you're my friend. And she said, I made it very clear in the coffee shop that I was not your friend. Then Bravo gives us a flashback to the coffee shop where Lala is telling him she will do anything to support him. So, yeah, you kind of did lead him to believe that you were on his side there, Lala. Then Lala says, you're still sitting there loving the fact that you got to Lala. Well, good for you, baby. The only successful thing you'll ever do. I love the touch of referring to yourself in third person. But James said, I'm successful. I'm very successful. Lala, oh, I'm a DJ at Sir. Which he's not. He's been fired from that job. So how dare you, Lala, bring that up? But anyway, James does not engage, and he gets up to leave as Lala is telling him that she wants to peel his face from his skull. Yeah. To Brittany, she says, I'm going through so much more than anybody in this restaurant will ever understand. Okay. I mean, I think even Brittany kind of rolled her eyes at that. I love Lala, and I still do. I love her. And I feel for her because she is going through something. But when she says stuff like that, that is her age coming through, right? Only somebody in their 20s thinks that nobody else in that restaurant will ever understand the experience of losing a parent. So Billy comes back and, tries to kick her out again. Lala gets up and she's like, not only are you boring to speak to, but you're boring to look at. And she walks off, and as she's leaving, Billy yells, your dress is 1995. Then you see Lala on the confession cam, and she's like, excuse me, that dress was J-Lo at the Grammys in 2000. It is iconic. She can go back to shopping in Charlotte Russe. She's finally leaving out the back door with Brittany's help. Brittany's like kind of guiding Lala out, all the while still screaming at Billy, you want to see a psycho? Yeah, you want to see a psycho? And then she tells Brittany, I love this. I'm so amused. Next, it is the morning of the grand opening party at Tom Tom, and everyone's bustling about. The Toms are teaching how to make the drinks, and then they give Lisa the signed term sheet, and they all have a hug, and Tom Schwartz goes, I'm not crying, you're crying. And Lisa's like, I'm not crying. Should I be crying? But it was sweet. They all hugged, and they're all partners and excited about their venture. And then the Toms go off to do some shopping. Lisa is sitting there, and James comes in. And she's like, what are you doing here? And he said, well, I knew you'd be here and everything busy. And she's like, I'm very busy. Just as somebody is bringing her tray of tea. She said, we still haven't talked about what happened right over there. When he went off on the Toms over by the bar. And he said, I know, but I'm doing better, Lisa. I want you to know that. So she asks, how did the brunch go? And he said it was great. Until Lala went crazy. He tells her that Lala went off and that she was screaming obscenities at Billy and Raquel in front of the customers. Lisa's like, no, Lala wouldn't do that. And he said, she did. And she said, and what did you do? And he said, nothing, I was good. I didn't call her one name, and I walked away, and I did not get involved in that. And he's like, you have to believe me. Please believe me, Lisa. I don't know if she does or doesn't, but, even James admitted that he is the boy that cried wolf. Eventually she'll find out the truth, but right now I don't think she's believing him so much. And he said, I'm not coming to the Tom Tom party. As much as it got me, I'm going to stay home. And Lisa's like, I think that's a good decision. And that lets Sandoval off the hook, too, with Katie, so... Anyway, that is where this episode ends. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I'm so glad to be back and recapping these shows for you guys. Don't forget to subscribe to Jill Informed if you haven't already. Please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and leave a comment down below. I read all of your comments. I didn't get to answer any last week because I was sick, but keep them coming. I love to hear from you guys. I hope I'll see you next Monday at 1 p.m. Central Time for the next recap of Vanderpump Rules. Bye-bye.